Great day, gals. Kenya Nunez here, and welcome to Forever Newlywed. Today we're starting a new series called Real Talk by the Fire. This conversation is going to be a little more candid, a little more gritty than our usual format, and that's really just to emphasize the fact that I'm learning as I go. As a newly married woman, there are so many things that you tiptoe into as circumstances open up. And so Real Talk by the Fire will give us an opportunity to talk about those moments when they happen and really get that dialogue started. Okay, so my topic today came about because I was talking to my girlfriends one day and I was expressing to them that I was really struggling with my self-esteem maybe a day or two prior. And we usually have these talks, we pray together, we talk with each other about different things that are going on. And to put it into context, I had expressed that same struggle maybe a week or two before. So one of my friends proceeds to ask me, why are you still feeling like this? Haven't you expressed this to your husband? Why isn't, Lewis encouraging you more? It was along that line of questioning. And I immediately felt offended because I was like, okay, you've known me for 10 plus years now, and you know that one of my biggest struggles is with my self-esteem. Sometimes not feeling good enough and not feeling valuable enough, all of those things. So why is it that now that I'm married, your line of questioning is, why are you still feeling this way? Why hasn't your husband swooped in to save the day and eliminate all of the feelings of low self-esteem that you have? And so it made me think about the fact that this is probably something that a lot of women go through. This is probably something that a lot of people have expressed feeling, that someone made them feel like, now that I'm married, all of my problems are solved. Or now that I'm married, I should be a better person. Even though the question or the line of questioning offended me, I was really glad that it happened because it opened up my eyes to something that I think a lot of women, especially newly married women, can struggle with. And it's this idea, again, that once they got married, that marriage, the symbolic marriage, suddenly changed everything in their life for the better. Marriage doesn't magically change your situation. The work that you put in, the things that you do to create progress in your life and in your marriage are what causes things to change. Not the marriage or the ring on your finger or marriage certificate. Those aren't the things that cause your life to transform or cause things to become better in your life. But it's so easy for people to make this assumption that once you got married, there was sudden happiness. Once you got married, you no longer felt loneliness. Once you got married, all of these things just became perfect or just became better simply for the fact that you're married. Her line of questioning made me look and say, well, okay, should my marriage have made me better? It made me internalize how I feel about my marriage. And I know that I have a great marriage. I know that my husband is constantly encouraging me. He's constantly pushing me. Ultimately, I began to understand that people think that marriage is a fixer. They think that marriage is gonna fix my self-esteem. It's gonna fix the problems that, we've been having in our relationship. It's gonna fix my financial situation. When really all of those things and more need to have begun to be worked on prior to you getting married. And so I run into people and, at one point earlier in my life, I think that I thought this way too, where say you're struggling with something like infidelity in your relationship and you think, okay, it's really just because our level of commitment is not all the way there. So the moment we get married, we are no longer going to have this issue with infidelity, and we're no longer going to look at other people because they're going to see the ring and I'm going to see the ring, and that's going to fix that problem. But notoriously, it doesn't. But we're still under that misconception that marriage is going to fix those kinds of problems, or any kind of problem for that matter. Some people think that marriage is going to magically fix finances. Well, if you don't know how to budget and you have always struggled with budgeting and keeping money in your pocket or keeping a savings, just because there's two incomes now, if both of you don't know how to manage your money, then the fact that you guys got married is not gonna fix that. You still have to change your patterns, change your ways, change the level of discipline that you guys are walking in. So I really feel like this situation helped me to understand and just opened up that conversation to be able to say that, no, I don't think that marriage is just going to magically fix things. I don't think that marriage itself is going to create this better existence for me. But the work that I put in, the work that my husband and I put in towards progressing in those areas, that is going to cause, change. That is what's going to cause a conversion in how we interact with each other and how we interact with ourselves. And again, for me, my relationship with Christ was so pivotal in helping me to understand who I am and my self-worth. But just like anything else, if I have a trigger, if something reminds me of feeling like I'm less than, then I'm gonna struggle with it that day, or I'm gonna struggle with it that week. And that doesn't mean that I'm not better. That doesn't mean that I haven't changed. It just means that maybe I had a bad day, or maybe I'm still working through that problem or that situation. These things are not my husband's burden to bear. Yes, it is his responsibility to help me just as I'm supposed to help him. Yes, he should encourage me. He should affirm me, all of those things. And my husband does a phenomenal job of doing that. But I can't place this extraordinary burden on him to magically make me a new person, to magically make my self-esteem so much greater and so much better than it was. We can't put certain burdens on people to fix us, to make us better, to convert us into this totally different person that we might want to be, but we don't feel like putting the work in to become. I hope that this opens up a dialogue for the community, for the Forever Newlywed community. And I hope that it gives all of us an opportunity to relieve ourselves and relieve our husbands, of this burden that if the actual fact that I'm married now hasn't completely fixed all of my problems, that we're able to get rid of that burden, to know that it's a work in progress and it's something that you're constantly working towards, that place of betterment, that place of maturity in your marriage. All right, gals, thanks for joining me for the first episode of this series called Real Talk by the Fire. I hope that this opens up the dialogue for you as it did for me. Please hit me up in the comments. And if you're not a part of the community already, hit that bell notification and subscribe to the page. Have an awesome day, and I'll catch you next week right here on Forever Newlywed.